Good morning, mushrooms, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers, sisters, mothers, misters, and to all my cousins out there around the world, it's time to plug in and get this train a-chugging. When I opened up the headlines this morning, this kind of frightened me. 80 years later, China won't forget what these US pilots did. I was expecting something horrible, something awful. However, turns out to be a good headline. And so, looking at the caption here, they painted a shark's maw on their fighters and got the modern equivalent. These fighter pilots, iconic fighter pilots of World War II, they painted a shark's maw on their fighters. They are talking about this big smiley shark's mouth here. The shark's maw, a maw, not a very common word, but a good one to know. A maw is the gaping open mouth of a voracious predator. Yeah, and voracious means that it will eat anything and everything it comes across. It's pretty cool and pretty intimidating. I'm sure it struck fear into the hearts of the other pilots that came across it to do battle with them. Got the modern equivalent of $9,000 for every Japanese plane they shot down. Now, I'm not sure who put the bounty on the head of those Japanese fighters. Was it the Chinese? I don't know, but the US wasn't paying them, I don't think, because, well, that's just doing their job. But maybe they did. I don't know. Haven't read the article. If you do, let me know. But they got $9,000 for every Japanese plane that they shot down and gained the everlasting respect of a nation. And which nation? Well, of course, as you know, we were talking about China. Everlasting means that it's not going to go away. It will last forever. And if something lasts, that means it continues its existence, yeah? Just like the effects of some sort of medicine can last for whatever, the symptoms and the, well, COVID, the symptoms of COVID, even after you get better from the virus, many of those symptoms will last for months afterwards. Apparently it's undying and everlasting respect. And to shoot something down, in this case, the phrasal verb is just literal. They're shooting it and it's coming down. However, in also colloquial terms, to shoot down somebody or to shoot down an offer. It's like if you make an offer to do something or for something and the person rejects your offer in a very forceful manner, then they would say that you got shot down. Much like when a guy goes and asks out a pretty girl at the bar and she's like, please get out of here. His friends, as he goes back to the table in the bar, his friends would be like, oh dude, you got shot down. Moving on. This COVID study indicates that immunity wanes quickly for mild infection. Fingers are rather clumsy. When immunity wanes, to wane means to decrease in size or amount or intensity. And just like when the moon waxes and wanes in its 28-day cycle, and the immunity actually goes away or goes down. It decreases rather quickly for these mild, not severe infections, which is very disappointing because we are all kind of hoping if we get the virus, then eventually we will actually become immune to it, maybe for life, like chickenpox. Wane, we use it for other things like your energy towards the end of the day. Your energy wanes. Your enthusiasm for something can wane. I love what I do. However, without a lot of actual reward, it's easy for your enthusiasm or your passion for a project to wane. And it's just the little token gestures that keep that level up. To diminish, to decrease. Ooh, and some good vocab there. To dwindle. D-W-I-N-D-L-E. My dwindling enthusiasm, my dwindling energy, my dwindling finances. All right, let's move on. He's back on the stage. He has returned to fronting the virus briefings. Now, to front something is to be the face of it, to be up in front of everything, to be leading it, to be in charge. And so he has come back. This is one of those examples, though, the main reason I highlighted it, because we've got the dependent preposition to, return to something, but then we've got the gerund here. And so lots of times people get confused with similar constructions because they think that this should be just an infinitive. Just like with get used to doing something, become accustomed to doing something, admit to doing something. Yeah, and so it's a dependent preposition followed by a gerund because the gerund works much like a noun. We can return to a place or we can return to an activity. So we need the ing there. It's good to just do a quick little Google search and figure out which of those verbs out there use to or require to as a dependent preposition, and then just commit them to memory so that you don't make the mistake when you say, like, I get used to go, but to front something, to be the public face of it, to be in charge of it, to be leading it, to be the spokesperson, etc. Let's move on. And Trump blasts Beijing in public. It's just another example of one of those many words that we use for giving strong criticism, to criticize somebody very strongly, very forcefully. The blast is allowed, it could be a blast of air, or a blast, from a horn, the horn blast. To blast from a gun, it's like a forceful ejection of something, forceful ejection of criticism in this case. Oh, and I forgot here, just this little phrase here, too little, too late. Very common. Sometimes we'll also say a day late and a dollar short, meaning you're not paying enough and it's too late. Just a nice little phrase that we hear very often. Rope, right now there's some slack in the rope, and if you pull it tight, then there is tension, and the rope is tense or tight or taut, T-A-U-T. Other than that, we've got the figurative tensions where everybody's all tight and tense, and that happens when you're angry or you're scared or you're nervous. Well, those dams are adding to the tensions, right? And people thought that they could just build a dam on the Nile without having any serious repercussions, and they are just in denial. Get it? Oh, sorry, teacher joke, couldn't help myself. And it seems like we're on the T's today, and so now we've got towering, the towering hypocrisy. Now, to be hypocrisy as an abstract idea, or then to be hypocritical as an adjective, or a hypocrite as a noun, it has to say one thing and then do something else. This is a towering hypocrisy. Just like a tower is tall, if something is towering, it's very big and very prominent, easily visible. Towards the end of Obama's presidency, there was a seat opened up, became vacant as an adjective on the U.S. Supreme Court. And it is the right of a president and their job to appoint somebody, or actually to nominate somebody to become the next Supreme Court, doing the exact opposite of what they had done to Obama. Yes, a towering hypocrisy. And vacant, or vacancy, that's the blinking light you'd see on old school motels by the side of the road, meaning that there are some rooms open for you. Thanks, Zdenyak. Thanks for the tip. Appreciate it, and thanks for the bit. Yay! I like my diamonds. To crack down on something, yes, is to take strong measures against it, to limit it or stop that action. We've seen it so many times, cracking down on protesters, or then as a noun, crackdowns on protesters, to crack down on corruption, to crack down on plagiarism, to crack down on any sort of illegal, illicit, or undesirable activity. Whew, there we go. The gears clicked into place, much like the tumblers in a lock, and suddenly click, it opened, and I was able to come up with my examples again. Luxury homes in Australia are falling into the ocean due to coastal erosion. Into the ocean due to erosion. I just can't help it. Sometimes I get excited by these little things. The coast is the land which is next to the water, typically the sea or the ocean, yeah? We don't use the coast for rivers so much. With rivers, we have the river banks. That's also where fish keep their money. River banks? Get it? Sorry. Again. Yes, and by lakes, we usually use the shore, but with the sea or the ocean, we use the coast or the seaside. Now, with a super large lake, much like Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Baikal, for very large lakes, then you could probably use the coast. And the police who patrol the coast are the Coast Guard, because they guard the coast from foreign invasion or smugglers and other things. And so the coast, the land next to the sea, is eroding. Erosion is the process of dirt and rock, land, any other sort of solid material slowly disappearing over time, often due to water, often due to wind. And we also have forms of chemical erosion. That's how you get caves and karst formations in limestone. because the minerals in there are soluble in water, and then caves form underneath the ground. Without getting too much into the geology, that's for you, John Donne, my little geologist out there. Lesson to be learned here: don't build your house on a cliff next to the ocean. Typically, don't build your house next to large bodies of water. It's just kind of a bad idea. There's flooding, there's landslides, mudslides, erosion, many other catastrophic natural phenomenon which can cause the destruction of your investment. And so these people, their homes are falling into the ocean and they are falling into bankruptcy. Perhaps. Is it illegal? Not really, but is it wrong? Morally, ethically? Certainly. You're supposed to be a servant of the people, not just trying to capitalize on your seat in the Capitol. Oh, he's all about the play on words today, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is just a collocation if you are eager to do something, to be eager to do something means that you really want to do it. You can't wait. Yeah? And so here, awaiting is just a fancy word for to wait for, and so it's like the people are on the edge of the seat biting their nails. They're kind of getting nervous and excited because they just can't wait to do it. Ronaldo, he reaches another landmark. I would say he's reached another milestone, because milestones mark progress, whereas a landmark is just something that allows you to know where you are. It's not any sort of particular measurement. However, prominent from the other day's broadcast, prominent landmarks could be a really tall building. It's something that allows you to orient yourself within a physical space. In many European cities, the famous landmarks are the castles and the towers and the other historical buildings. Historical landmarks. When I was young, my father, he had a bumper sticker, the sticker on the back of his van on the bumper, and it said, "I break for historical landmarks." And it was true. Whenever we saw the brown signs of a historical point of interest, he'd pull the van over and we'd get out, read the plaque, and learn something about whatever it may have been. And I think really it was probably this practice which led me to have such a passion for history and just general information and trivia. Love it, love it, love it. All right. The EU has struck a deal after intense haggling and negotiating. Recycling vocabulary, yeah? They have been ravaged, they have been devastated, they have been demolished, they have been destroyed. A bunch of D words meaning seriously, severely damaged. Yes, the economy is in shambles. It is crumbling. It's falling apart. Many people are unemployed. La 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 la. Much like a hurricane will ravage a coastline. War-torn and war-ravaged countries, much like Syria or Yemen. Knock on wood, we're lucky to be where we are. And remember, historic, meaning making history. Historical is about history. Let's keep it rolling. Sun-drenched photos capture the golden age of surfing. Yeah, it's interesting because drenched means completely soaked or saturated with water. Now, if you're caught outside in a rainstorm with no umbrella, you might get a little bit wet. Your shirt might get damp. However, if it is a serious downpour, as they say, raining cats and dogs, like every English language learner learns, then you will get drenched when you are completely soaked to the bone. Here, they're drenched in sun. So it's an interesting contradiction because, well, sun dries things out. But so if anything really can be drenched in something else, just to make a very figurative description of it. Much like people will worship God, and it's to show extreme devotion and reverence, to believe in it and then perform actions showing your devotion and praise to whatever it is. Put them on a pedestal, much like some sort of god. I don't know. Much like my puppy worships me, or other people worship celebrities for some reason. I don't know. Vivid portraits could be very vibrant colors. Often we can say like vivid memories, and so it means that it evokes some sort of emotion or feeling within you. Shine light on Tahiti's third gender. And to shine light on something, to illuminate something, to put it in the spotlight, it was in the darkness before, which means that people did not know about it, and or it was just kind of shadowy, and so it was confusing maybe. Therefore, people were suspicious of it because, well, things that are in the dark and in the shadows are scary. But so if you shine light on something, if you illuminate it, it draws people attention to it, and they're able to better see it, know it, understand it, and appreciate it, and not just try and be scared of it and therefore persecute it or something along those. Really cool. Read the article. Perplexed, flabbergasted, flummoxed, confused, dumbfounded. Yeah, they're just shockingly confused by the billions in unspent testing money. Yeah, because, well, we allocated or set aside, devoted all of this money and resources to testing, and to protect and save the population, so that way then it stops the contagion, stops the spread of the virus. However, the orange idiot in the Oval Office decided that testing is a bad idea because more testing equals more cases, and more cases means makes me look bad. Yeah, so they didn't spend the money. They didn't spend the money that had been allocated and set aside for this very purpose. And so the money went unspent, and lawmakers, who represent the voters, are completely shocked and confused. Perplexed, flummoxed, dumbfounded. Just fun words for confused. That's it. And last one here, just a nice simple phrasal verb that we all know and love and are each and every one of us guilty of doing once in a while. The widow of this guy, he died, his wife is still alive, she's a widow, says this other guy made an honest mistake mixing up her husband and another guy. And so, yeah, you know, just maybe mixed up the names, you said the wrong thing. I've done it countless times. You call somebody Steve, but his name is George. You mix things up. Often we mix up words and or phrases, and that can actually have funny unintended consequences. And you put your foot, I'm not that flexible, put your foot in your mouth to say the wrong thing at the wrong time to the wrong person, which ends up in an embarrassing situation. I am very good at putting my foot in my mouth. Alrighty dighty, those were the headlines for today. For English Otherwise, that was breaking down the news. As you know, my name is Mr. James, but if you made it this far, you can call me Cameron. You deserve that. And so thank you. If you enjoyed what we do here, please follow and subscribe. Click the links and follows on Twitch, on YouTube, Facebook, and spread the love. Send it to a friend, let them know, and so that they can also increase their vocabulary. Talk about interesting things, because in life, if you're not interested, you're never going to be interesting. And if I don't see you sooner, 8 a.m. tomorrow. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye. Yes, stop the stream.